Karen Levy, Director of Creative Business Operations. Thanks for having me at your office.
Thank you, Mishka. Nice to have you here.
So let's just jump right into it. The way I understand it is a good creative is not the same thing as great traffic. Can you explain that?
Right, I think we wish it was, because then it was very easy. But a good creative is not perhaps what will help you scale or bring the users that you need into your game. When we build a creative, one of our goals is basically first goals, let's say, not the only goal is to drop the CPI. And by dropping the CPI, I'm able to buy more profitably and get more users, of course. And CPI is a combination of CPM, IPM, right? So I'm trying to basically get users install more on the impressions I'm getting from the creative. But it doesn't mean that if I do that, I'm getting the right users. And this is something that you need to continue and track on your creative and understand if the direction you have taken with your creative eventually in the post-install brings you those users that are good for your game.
All right, so let me try to explain to myself, and correct me if I'm wrong. So cost per install comes from cost per 1,000 impression of the ad divided by installs per 1,000 impression. And creative is really that thing that affects the installs per 1,000 impression, because the cooler it is, let's say I'm using some hot IP or some well-known thing like a Spider-Man, and now I get more installs because I have Spider-Man in it, and then it can be a bad thing, because if I don't have a Spider-Man in my game, then I've just misadvertised and they come in and there's no Spider-Man, and that way I drove a lot of traffic, I decreased the CPI, but I didn't promise what the users wanted to see.
Exactly. So if you're not using the right strategy, you're bringing the wrong users, you're either misleading them because they thought that they're coming to a certain game or a certain theme, and they're not getting it. So obviously you're harming your retention and your potentially lifetime value of users that you're bringing into the game, and the potential to earn the revenues that you need in order to return your investments. And on the other hand, either you're just not bringing only those that are okay with the game and spending X time, but you're not spreading and being more marketable to reach also those that are not the highest potential, but does have some potential to balance your return on investment that you're looking for.
Well, can you explain me then why does misleading ad then work? It seems to work. I don't know, like in theory it shouldn't work, but they work.
They work. I think that in marketing, one of the major things is how to attract the user. It doesn't matter if it's in mobile, in TV, right, on billboards, you're trying to attract somehow. And usually it will touch some emotion, or it will touch, it will be something very exaggerated, that you're really exaggerating, for example, a feature, or exaggerating a feeling or a situation to pull that attention of that user. And in games, it's not that you have those points of exaggeration or those points of extreme things that you're pulling the attention. Today, a user in the media is like billions, of things that he's seeing. He's scrolling through posts, scrolling through different website apps, jumping here and there. It's like really crazy, and tracking the attention, it's very hard. So you need to use something that is very unique, that is not something that you're showing exactly in the game when he installs and opens it. So that excitement is just dropping, and then it can go two ways. Either he continues to explore the game, likes it and plays it, or he's like really frustrated in what happened right now. And it's funny because I had a taxi drive lately that the taxi driver was complaining to me about misleading ads and how...
and he knew that you're the source of misleading ads?
Yes, he asked me what I do. I had a work call on my phone, and he was asking what am I doing? And he said, you guys, like, it's so frustrating. Stop doing it,
I agree.
please. So I really felt him. And I told him it's really nice to see this emotion in real life from a person that sees an ad, thinks that he's going to play something or see what he just saw in the ad in the game and feel the same excitement, but then he doesn't. And it's frustrating because you just download to your device another app, you open it, you spend your time on it, and it's not what you've seen. So it works because you're using techniques of marketing that is working, so it works in terms of marketability.
Yeah.
And this is for the stages where you want to scale up, you want to attract more users to your game. So it is a strategy that you can take if you have a certain goal, or you put aside your post-install goals a bit because you need to scale. But you need to understand that it's not a long-term strategy that you can go with.
Isn't it so that in hybrid casual, the creatives are typically showing the gameplay? Like it's either a playable or very much around the gameplay, and through that there's less of that misleading advertising. And it seems like a lot of the misleading advertising is actually showing hybrid casual gameplay, but actually you're ending up in a 4X game.
You're talking about hyper casual.
Yeah, or even hybrid casual. Like let's say Screwmaster. Like I've played multiple playables with Screwmaster where you just open up and start breaking down the house, and that's actually the game. And so do you have these type of same challenges, or are you able to get through with just having creatives about the core gameplay?
So I think that the thing is in creative teams is to know how to balance, because and to understand the status of the game and where does it stand now and what do you want to achieve. Most of the time in the hybrid casual games, you would want to stick to your gameplay because it probably would not bring you very good results for the long term. If you go with something that is misleading, that is showing something that is not in the game and will not be in the game, because you can work on techniques together with LiveOps, for example, to insert things that in marketing you see works but don't exist in the game. But if you know that it's completely off, so it wouldn't be a strategy that would work for a long term and probably will bring you to very low margins and even losing on profit. So usually we would want to stick to the gameplay. You want the user to really understand what the game is, what are you supposed to do as a user. And the thing is that the user needs to understand it very, very quickly. Because if he understands it very quickly and it attracts him, so probably this game is for that user. And he will be a high retention user that will continue play the game, continue progressing in the levels and wanting to know more and seeing more of that game. And once we do want to scale a bit and go a bit off of the strategy of staying profitable, buying the right users, we will go a little bit on the side and go off game, let's say, a bit misleading, not too much.
Just a touch of misleadingness.
a touch. I would say that lately you can see that misleading stopped to be the whole creative. If in the past we have seen misleading creatives that are completely like from the first second to the 32nd of the video, you're seeing something that is completely off. Today, you won't see that much. You will see those misleading actions or like scenes coming right at the beginning of the ad. The first 3 to 5 seconds that we call a hook. And hooks are becoming like the thing. This is like everyone's talking about the hook. So it is really important because 3 seconds is your golden time to shine and attract the user. As I said before, in marketing, you need to attract the user somehow. You want to show something that is exaggerating, you have 3 seconds to do it, and then continue to your real gameplay. Because if the user will not remember those 3 seconds, he will see the rest of the gameplay, and then he will have a very reasonable, flow to the store and to install and to play.
So the 3 seconds, meaning that since a lot of the channels have sort of a shorter ad units, if you will, like YouTube Shorts or TikToks or or reels and other ones. So that's why you don't get swiped away. You have to like hit them with the music and the right type of cut. You got 3 seconds, 2 seconds, probably 1 second.
Yes, I don't know if your kids are scrolling
Yeah.
through reels,
No.
shorts. No,
No,
not at
not
all.
allowed.
But I think it changed the industry in the way that you look at creatives completely, because you're observing so much media in a very short time, and that's your only way to attract a user in general, and then there are more chances they will continue to see the rest of it if you did a really good job at the beginning, because of those TikTok and Shorts, YouTube kind of type of ads and media.
All right. Well, let's talk about quantity versus quality. What's the strategy these days? Because like it feels like there's two different versions. It seems like some studios, especially on the casual side, are more focused on quality, where they get the celebrities and really pump out these like superb marketing campaigns with narrative and humor and whatnot. And then there's essentially AI-driven, super fast development of thousands of iterations of ads.
Yes, so it'll be annoying, but you need to do both.
Celebrities too.
No, celebrities is another genre of games. If we're talking about hybrid, hyper casual, we're still not in celebrities, but we are in a world of using creators. So this we can talk about separately, but in general, quantity versus the quality is two ways of managing your operation and creative strategy when you're coming to build your team or your creative strategy of the game. And you need to do both, okay? And you need to understand when one benefits your game and when you need to shift to the other one to benefit a little bit more. And what drives me when I'm looking at my strategy and how I do it is really the value I'm getting, okay? Because when you're working on a quantity mode, you're looking to find basically a direction, okay? So you want to test your real gameplay, for example, but you have different levels that you know are working well with the users in the game. And you want to test several of them, but you also want to iterate on each level, add some things that can impact CPI, but not give you a complete off direction that will mislead you in your strategy and optimization. So you'll do a mass production, and you can test 20, 30, 40 videos on a campaign test. So it will help you to focus on what is your direction. Once you found the direction, you have a good balance between the marketability and the performance of the users that you're driving to your game, then you need to go to the quality. And you need to focus on that and understand, where do I invest my time, because quality takes more time. You need more people to work on a certain creative. You're putting more time on ideation, on strategy, on your thought, on how to do it, how to execute it. So you want to invest in the right thing and not just shoot in the air and say, okay, I think that's a nice creative, let's invest in that. In both cases, AI is something that works on both and is helping us to use both and balance ourselves on both sides. Because if in the past we didn't use AI and it was very hard to go into quality, so we were mass production and testing a lot. Today, AI helps us in the quantity, okay, in terms of generating like images and helping us to create better images in mass production, obviously, and in quality, create assets that will take us more time, that will look good, higher end production in less time than it would take without AI. So
interesting. Actually, there's two things that I wanted to kind of go through. The first one is there still a concept of a hero creative when we're talking about hybrid casuals? Meaning there's a certain creative that is just so overperforming and just driving incredibly good traffic compared to the others, or is it typical that there's multiple creatives that are essentially of the same quality?
As a creative performance, when you're looking at it, you don't want to have one. It's not healthy.
But it's typical.
It can happen,
Yeah.
yes, it can happen, but most of the focus of the team would be to change that picture, because also in hybrid casual, the fatigue is there, it happens, and it's very hard to catch that if you don't have those others in the campaign that can give the air and the campaign to breathe, and the fatigue is very hard to change. Like when you have just one that is working, it would be very hard and a more struggle to find the other creatives. So you need to always be on top of it, iterate your hero. Yeah. Okay, if that's your hero, that's really, really good that you found it. You will need to iterate. You will need to find those other directions that are keeping the same theme and story of your creative, but using more iterations around it. You can use a lot of AI to do it and test it, like voiceovers and UGCs and a lot of other things, changing textures and elements in the game like very quickly, just to find those other directions that will be more healthy, but still lead the hero concept.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
Okay, understand. And plus, if you have a specific hero creative, that's also the creative that all of your competitors will be copying, so the fatigue is even faster because
Yes.
not even how many players you drive through
No
it.
one's copying.
Yeah, no, of course not, especially not creatives, that they just pull out a sensor tower and make their own versions with AI.
I don't know what you're talking about.
So talking about AI, and you said there's benefit both in terms of increasing the quality, but also increasing the quantity. How much has AI changed your job and your team's job in a relatively short amount of time?
I think that if in the past, creative teams would really avoid going into the quality area, AI has a really good, done a good job there to remove those fears of creative teams to go into those areas that are more quality by creating assets they look better, that are more fine-tuned, or going over like ideations and things that you would not go before, okay? Because with AI, you basically can do anything.
Yeah.
And if you had like an idea in the past, you say, no one will go with me, it's too crazy, it's off completely. Today, it's like you just do it, you show it on your brief or like ideation meeting, and everyone's like, oh, that's really cool. Like, how did you do it that quick? And then from there, it's really easy. So it cracked up, I think, that quality area that a lot were afraid of to use. And in the quantity, obviously, just reach much more from your portfolio, or like if you would think of, if you're focusing on 2 games that you have, but you have maybe 4, 5, or 6, and you don't have time to design a new icon on the screenshots for the store, or have like a new textures for the creatives to test iterations. So their AI is completely has changed the picture. And you can go and get a set of 20, 30 new iterations for your hero creative, let's say, in one day. So.
And when it comes to different creatives, are there specific type of creatives that work really well with hybrid casual, and specific ones that don't work? So maybe the question is more like, I know on other type of games, there's hybrid creatives where you essentially add a UGC and a gameplay, or animation and UGC, or animation and gameplay. Is there a specific type of ad units that are good with hybrid casual, and some ones that are not?
I think like most of the games, so obviously video playable would be the top type of creatives. Inside those, though, you will go and see that in videos, there is different directions that you can take. Some of them work okay, some of them work better. And there you can see different, so we have the voiceovers, for example. which came in, I think, as well as part of the change of Reels and TikTok and everything. If in the past always we were told as creative people, no one looks at like or plays with the voice on, right? The volume is always off, and like you don't have to spend your time on putting music or audio on your creatives. So today it's completely the opposite. Like if you don't have a voiceover, then probably your ad will just be skipped. So this is something that you have to have. Okay, so you found the good gameplay video. Now you have to put a sound on it, if it's music, if it's voiceover, and subtext. Like also today, people are hearing it, they want to read it as well.
Wow.
So you can see that when you put the subtext, it works better. These things in hybrid, hyper, casual works really, really well. UGC as well is a direction that we have seen evolving with time. I think started, I don't know, 2 years ago, where it's real actors and you had to do like a really big, production, day of filming and everything. It wasn't that cheap, and you had to plan it, and you had to have someone to copy the text,
scripted and everything, and you can't change it afterwards.
Yes, you can change it, and you can mix it with other videos. So this world really, really evolved, I think, because it works, and you can see that it is working, especially on social channels for games, because in the past you would see it working mainly for products that you're like buying, right? Like maybe e-commerce or other areas. And then it came into gaming, and it was questioned, like we were not sure if it's gonna work or not. The productions are expensive. Like gaming are not gonna put on it too much unless it's like famous, in those areas. But then something evolved there, and then AI came into. And today we can just generate like UGC from AI. That it looks real, but it's not a real person. There's no one that is real like that on Earth. Speaking on a text that was generated with AI after you have inserted your video and it read it and knows exactly what to say, created the subtext as well.
On whatever language, whatever the type
Whatever language, it takes around
all the
20, 30 minutes to generate, and then you have the video. And I think this is a big game changer that we will see more and more UGC coming in for the game industry, especially on socials, which there people are looking for those people that are influencers that are.
That's scary. I'll be honest. When somebody's recommending me something, and that somebody is not even a real person. On the
That's
other
marketing.
Hand, but on the other hand, that somebody could be an actor that is paid to recommend me something. So it's like, what's the difference?
The same.
It's like, well, okay, a little dystopian. So let's move on from that into different types of ad units. Maybe not ad units, but more like what are the type of channels that work really well with hybrid casual? Because we've been talking about UGC, and UGC is of course related to social media channels. Are those the primary channels now, or is it still advertising in other hybrid casual games, kind of moving in between, or like what are the main channels?
I think that we can divide it into three. So we have the social channels. We still have the networks like SDK networks that are around, and we have also, I think, the incentivized networks as well, where in the incentivized network we're not really focusing on creatives, but they are channels that are important for games. But there usually it will be like offer walls, so your icon would be very important in that case, okay, which it is something that you need to think about when you're designing your icon. How does it look? How will it look on a device? How will it look when it's on an offer wall? Because these channels can drive a lot of revenue for your game. And the icon does impact. So you can see it in that, and you can see it also, for example, on Google. So they are running your campaigns also on Google Browse. And on Google Browse, it's only your icon. But if your icon will be played, will pull a lot of attention, and users will get in, so your placement will be better. And the quality is really, really good of those users. So I really suggest like invest in your icon.
Interesting.
Do a very good job there, so you'll attract from that. And all the others are really the social and the SDK that are focusing on the videos and on the playables. There's no one that works better. I think both are important in order to have a holistic, approach. And also, I think some channels are really incremental because they're not in any way correlated with the others, and they will drive you more new users, and you would want to push that. So I would not give up on any of them. I would really, I would look at it at those three groups to understand how are you strategizing your creatives based on that. So on social, you need to focus on social things that are the hooks that are really important, and the UGCs, a lot of videos, mostly videos. Playables are starting, but like it's not the main, as we see on SDK. And on SDK, invest in the playables because they are incremental and they are important, and they really give the user the chance to play your game. So it's really, really important to invest in those.
And in what phase does your team start working with an external team, so a team that you're publishing? Do you come in really early on to help out with maybe figuring out what the gameplay could be or what's the early marketability? Or do you come in more at later stage, maybe towards soft launch, where the team is already looking to perhaps start scaling, and at that point they're looking to start optimizing their creatives?
So we're in the picture from day one.
Okay.
There's a team that works on new games, and we are really going with them from the first day. We're launching it for just a marketability test and understanding the first metrics of the game. And it's important that you put the focus on creatives from the first day of your game, because with that you can understand where to focus. Also, it's a very good connection of live ops and creatives, and both can really help each other to understand what is a good strategy, or live ops can take from marketing things that will help them develop and go through directions that can help the game grow as well, in terms of ARPU and others. So I think that it is important from the start to always find your best creative that brings you, either dropping your CPI at the beginning, of course, because you need to just find a lot of users, and then optimizing it to find the best gameplay, and those that are having a nice retention, that are returning very nice in your game. Maybe you're finding like paying users as well from the beginning, and understanding with that how to develop more your strategy of in-app purchases. So it's very, very important. And then we go through the whole lifetime of the game until we decide to launch it. And of course, strategies change throughout this whole lifetime and for launch. And then,
what's the biggest reduction of CPI you've seen that has come through creative optimization?
wow.
Like how many hundred percentages?
I think, okay, we can talk about hyper casual versus the hybrid
Anything.
casual, because
I'm just curious to see.
because it's very different.
Okay, well, let's say hybrid casual. So that's more of a late number. So it's like when you've optimized the creative, you've been able to decrease the cost per acquisition by how much? I understand that this is just a number. It's not going to stay there forever, but it's still a result that you achieve through iteration.
Yes, you can you can see in hybrid casual, I would say we are around like the 30% deduction. 40 is like very extreme, unique. You go to 40, 50 is like numbers we had, hyper casual numbers, but like the 30 is a very good deduction.
Okay.
Very good, yeah.
Interesting.
It's a nice deduction.
Interesting. Okay, we've seen bigger at least on mid-core size, because when you start changing settings and themes, then you start seeing pretty big changes over time.
Yes, but in the hybrid casual, I think the gameplay is very clear.
Yeah.
So like it's very it's not that if you're launching your game and this is the gameplay, it's very simple, you know, either it's a puzzle board or it's like a tycoon that has a mission to create, I don't know, clean the city or whatever. So it's not that complex. The users are very quick. They need to understand quick, and then the reactions are very quick. So the features are, the boosters, the features, the levels are, I don't think users are very, you know, surprised from like a new booster that will be there. It can help, of course, and that's the strategy that we're looking to always develop and have them stay in the game more. But this is like from what we've seen.
Sizable amount still.
Yes.
So that was my misconception, is how much you can reduce the price involve a CPI. What other misconceptions do people have in terms of creatives in hybrid casual games?
Might go with like high quality is what works, you know. I think it's a misconception. If your strategy just looks to get high quality creatives, I think you're gonna miss a lot of things. High quality creatives are great and they're important at certain stages of the game, but they're more expensive. Yeah. Like the more quality you go, probably you're gonna compete with like more expensive advertisers out there, and it's gonna cost you. So it depends what's your in-game metrics, you know. So I think this is one of the misconceptions of it. So we're going hybrid, we need like a high-end studio and Disney productions and
Pixar level productions.
So I feel that at least for the start of a game and the first year of the game, when you're trying to really stabilize your strategy and in-game strategy and everything, like keep it simple and keep it like true to the game, and build a story together with the live ops team. So it will be built in a very reasonable way and not something that is like extreme.
So bigger investment into creative doesn't mean better return.
No.
Okay.
It doesn't.
What other type of misconceptions people have?
I think the other misconception is having just one good creative. So I think we talked about it. The hero creative.
Yeah, you said don't trust the hero creative.
Like
it's
trust
a fading.
it.
It's a fading. It's
trust
a fading
it
one.
and let it lead you, but don't feel comfortable with just one creative that has most of the share of spend of the campaign. It's not healthy, and you'll just be impacted from fatigue much quicker than if you be able to have a healthy distribution of a few creatives. It's not that healthy to rely on one, and I think it's not only on creatives, you know, it's don't rely on one media source, don't rely on one type of creative, right? So you need to be distributed much more healthier. So even if you're in your first stages of developing a game and you're testing and you have just one video that is taking all the share of spend, work more to find more and have a better distribution.
Hedge your bets.
Yes.
As anyone would say.
Yes.
Any other ones?
When you're trying in your creative to just test all of the things in your game. So this is like a misconception, I think, that some people are sometimes taking this approach. They have a lot of features and all the UI and explosions and, you know, and they want to test it all. So it can look either way. Either you have a very messy creative that is trying to test everything, or you have a very messy strategy that you're like, oh, this competitor did this, I'm gonna do it, and let's copy that idea and take this, and oh, this feature just went out, we have to put it in the creative, and your strategy is just a mess. It's not good to, you need to test most of the things, but you have to test it in a very smart way. So if you want to test a certain level or a certain gameplay that you have in the game, you want to understand what works in that and what pulls the user attention more. So if you're using an emotion of urgency or you're using an emotion of relaxation, then it can impact very, very different on your results eventually. And if your strategy will not be focused and clear and built very, very well. So you'll just not be able to even understand what works because it was not organized enough.
You're testing too many things at the same time.
Yes, you're testing too many. Test relaxation with that one gameplay, see the results. Test urgency with that gameplay, see the results. And then you can really compare and say urgency works better than relaxation. Because if you won't do that, you cannot say it. It's not right. And then you're just missing a lot of things in your strategy and your approach.
One last question is like, how important it is to understand player motivations when you are building your creative strategy?
It's the most important thing. When you're taking a game and building a strategy, especially in hybrid casual, where you have more depth in the game and like you are thinking more of a long-term strategy. So you need to understand what is the motivation that brings those users that are driving the return you're looking for. If most of the users that are driving this good ROAS for you coming from creatives that are showing relaxation, so you need to understand that audience and what they're looking for and what are you going to show them in the creatives. Because if those are your users, most of your users, okay? And then you'll go out with a really extreme creative that is explosions and urgency and like, so probably it's not gonna work that well. They're not looking for that and it won't attract them too much. And so it is important, and it is important in your strategy to really look at those motivations and understand when have you tested them, on which creatives, how did you test them, because I can test relaxation through music, through voiceover, through visuals. I can test relaxation in many ways. So I need to be very structured and understand what was my best way. So it
Interesting.
can.
So basically, you're saying that because the way your team works, you and your team works, is not that you get into a colorful room with a lot of creative things on the wall and you come up with nice, cool ideas. You actually have to have a strategy that thinks about not only what's happening in the market, what type of gameplay, how you want to put it out, what kind of channels, what kind of ad units, but also you need to think about what motivations you're tapping in and then following how does that creative perform so that you can get more of specific type of users that are really enjoying your gameplay and they're coming through these type of creatives.
Yes, it's complex. The creative team is not in a pink room, as you said. They can sit sometimes on Excels and tables and build a strategy to understand really what is driving the performance. As a team of creative, you want to bring value, and your goal is really to bring growth and healthy growth into the game. So you have to optimize every step of the way that you're doing and really challenge your strategy all the time. Did I go to the right direction? If not, what is the new direction? How am I going to test it again? And if you're not building it right, so it can be a mess.
Well, thank you, Karen, so much.
Thank you, Misha.
Avoiding everybody for not building a mess.